and gentlemen, welcome to Church with a Two Dreams in Heart.
Alright, everybody ready? We're going to sing. Hey, you know. Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Welcome to the church with Two Dream Minimum. Welcome to the church with Two Dream Minimum. We are interfaith, interspiritual, God optional. So relax and get ready for a celebration. Welcome to the church with a Two Drink Minimum. One more time now. Welcome to the church with a Two Drink Minimum.
I also want to say that, wow, Glenn and I have had a really beautiful, peaceful day, which I'm really grateful for.
I even took a nap.
Starting with Awakening Together's morning gathering at 10 a.m. So those of you who haven't joined us at 10 a.m., this is new for me and Glenn to join everyone, and we really, really love it. So thank you. And it just set the tone for the day. So we spent the rest of the day listening to chanting and some of our favorite spiritual teachers.
Did you know that Krishna Das has been doing like a once a month, like live kirtan, live teaching, where
really
he answers
nice
questions and things like that? We listened to him this morning too. It was really, really nice to hear him talk about the Hanuman Chalisa and answer people's questions. And he says, I know it sounds like I'm kind of giving you the same answer to everything, but the answer to everything is practice. The answer to everything is like, take what you believe and put it into action.
Practice.
You know, that's what the whole deal is. So that's what we try to do here on A Course in Miracles. Is, you know, that reminder that, of course, you know, that A Course in Miracles is mind training.
Yes, so we have a lot to share, but first
it's the song,
our
it's the theme song. You need to sing along. This message is profound. It'll change your life. It's changed ours.
You know, it's funny because when I wrote this song, I had no idea that it was going to be like the theme song that carries us through everything, and every time we do anything.
We're probably singing this song more than
anything. And listen, if you let things be exactly as they are, things will change anyway.
They're changing by themselves.
You don't have to do it.
We're changing. We're growing up. We're part of the whole.
Okay, there we go. We're better. All right. So it's
sing it with us if you know it.
I call, you respond. Let things be exactly as they are. Let things be.
Let things be
exactly as they are.
Exactly as they are.
You can't change me.
You can't change me.
You can't change God.
But you can't change God.
So let things be.
I let things be.
Exactly as they are.
Exactly as they are.
And you and me.
And you and me.
We'll live in peace.
We live in peace.
Well, I don't know what anything is for.
What anything is for.
Unless I listen to that still small voice.
I have a still small voice
telling me this simple truth. That everything is for my good. So let things be.
I let things be.
Exactly as they are.
Exactly as they are.
Can't change me.
You can't change me.
You can't change God.
'Cause you can't change God.
So let things be.
I let things be.
Exactly as they are.
Exactly as they are.
You and me.
So you and me.
Will live in peace.
Favorite verse.
I'm not this this body.
I'm not this body
That you see.
that you see.
I am as God.
I am as God.
Created me.
She created me.
And we are all one family.
One family.
And it's possible.
It's possible.
To live in peace.
We live in peace.
So let things be.
Let things be
Exactly as they are.
exactly as they are.
You can't change me.
You can't change me.
And you can't change God.
Cause you can't change God.
So let things be.
Let things be
Exactly as they are.
exactly as they are.
You and me.
So you and me
We'll live in peace.
we live in.
Kumbaya. Yes.
Got your kumbaya moment there.
Let's have a
We
toast.
don't kid,
Let's
we don't
have a
kid around
toast to
here.
Kumbaya.
Here's to kumbaya. And all the camp songs and all the time that you spend in church basements singing along. Did you do that?
That's what we
Spend your
did.
time in, yeah, I grew up in a church basement. It
Uh-huh.
looks that way. That's how I lost all my hair.
Oh God, I feel refreshed and just
It was the nap.
happy and
It was the nap.
Oh,
Ladies and gentlemen,
Carolyn's
Carolyn
here.
McClary. Wonderful.
wow.
Yay.
We're so glad to see you.
Yeah. So,
Anyway, we have a lot to share today.
yeah.
So let's get to it because there's some things I wanted to. So lately, as I've been saying to you, I've been feeling vulnerable and aware, I guess, that we are, as humanity, going through a huge time of great awakening.
Mhm.
So I want to just share some things with you today that I haven't shared yet. And for some that I've shared this with already, personally, it sounded scary to them. But in echoing what we were talking about, this morning in the morning gathering, this is a time
It's good time. It's context.
It's a good time
Yeah.
to prepare, and to bring the darkness to the light, and to bring your
and we're going to talk about that today.
I know, that's what's
so funny.
so
We do
very
this.
exciting.
We talk about the shadow.
Yeah, we were talking about the shadow. There was another thing that Reverend Billy mentioned this morning about he played Stairway to Heaven, and it was a tribute to
Led Zeppelin.
Led Zeppelin, thank you. And Led Zeppelin was there witnessing it, and Robert Plant. And Led Zeppelin was there witnessing the performance by Heart. And
The Wilson sisters.
yes, Nancy and Ann. So Reverend Billy was pointing out that creating something and then being able to let it go
To have its own life.
and
Like
have
a
its own
child.
life, like a child. And
Or
someone
a piece
in
of
the
art.
and someone in the room read the Rumi poem about being a parent and letting children, come
The
through.
Desiderata,
you.
right?
No, it was a different poem, a Rumi poem. But anyway, I'm saying all this to say that was really important to me. This idea of, we are creating our lives, and we have to be able to turn them over to Spirit and to let them go. I personally am an artist, and I create. But you live a creative life where I'm creating music and art.
Yeah, we live in the Yolanda painting.
Yeah, all these paintings, like all kinds. So I'm at a point where people want to help me interpret my art for a larger audience, which is lovely, and I'm blessed by that. However, I find it's hard for me to let go, of letting
It's a good exercise.
that happen. And so in all of this discussion, I see that I'm having to look at things that are dark within me and bring them to the light. So with that in mind, I wanted to just share a couple of things. First of all, today's lesson, which is in A Course in Miracles, which is lesson 263, which dovetails so beautifully. And I'm just going to read what, not the whole lesson.
We've only got 100 days left in the year. We only got about 100 days left.
That's right, 365. Okay, so today's lesson is 263. My holy vision sees all things as pure.
My holy vision.
My holy vision.
My holy vision.
And as we like to do, we like to think of the word holy as WHOLEY, holy. My whole vision, my holy vision sees all things as pure. That dovetails into
so if you're
our circle
seeing,
of love
right,
meditation.
if you're seeing all things as pure,
right,
innocent.
If you're seeing all things as pure, then let me share with you this. It's actually a channeled prophecy called A Time of Great Awakening. And it just so happens that I know many of us have gifts and are tuned into spirit. It just so happens that a similar prophecy, if you will, was given to me in the 80s, and I call it 75 shift, because the number 75, it indicates great intuition and great creativity. So I feel like the time that we're moving into is a time for us to come together as a community and use our great.
That's what we're working towards, coming together as
a community and use our
we build community
creativity.
here. And
Exactly.
I know that, you know.
So let me share this with you. I want to read to you now. It's called, This is a Time of Great Awakening. While some think the world is ending, COVID-19 is a deafening, soundless dawn of a new beginning.
Yes.
There will be many uprooting events to come in the decade ahead. It is a time that compels us to contemplate our values, our life choices, and define who we are. By the end of the decade, our collective conscious aspirations will lean toward unity, compassion, and universal love. While the road taken may appear to be bumpy and troublesome,
it does appear.
Appearances, it is a removal of fear-based consciousness from our planet. Hallelujah. This is the time.
I'm going to do this.
Yeah, I know. Planet Earth is eradicating from its plains the fear-based beliefs and inequalities that have plagued human existence for centuries. The divine feminine within both men and women and trans, praise the goddess, will bask human consciousness like never before, and wisdom will return to the masses. Hallelujah. Can I get it? A human
returns to the masses. So why do we say, what's God?
Us. We are God. The age of patriarchal fear-based controlling systems is sunsetting.
I love that.
Sunsetting, I know. The men stuck in control and inadequacy will be floundering and will try everything they can to sabotage this, but they will ultimately fail and be exposed.
Sound familiar?
It's what's going on right now.
I know.
The law of attraction will become fact, and conscious creators like us will inherit the earth with love and compassion to all beings. The age of control and ego will be drawing to a close, and we'll be dawning into the age of Aquarius.
It's true. Look up the age of Aquarius.
Yeah, right now.
Starting.
I know, right now. All that will occur in this time is for the purpose of unity, unconditional love, and compassion. These feelings can become activated instead of fear, despair, and depression, right?
It's a bumpy road.
It's a bumpy road, but as we come together in community, we can activate unconditional love, unity, and compassion rather than the other things. Together, the world will dissolve its borders and cultural differences will be celebrated. Globally, consciousness will get reacquainted with the divine feminine, a human, and men and women and trans, and all of us will reflect the wisdom of peace and unity. This is a time of awakening. All crisis is an opportunity to discover who we really are. Through the twists and turns of this trying time, we will all discover in one way or another that we are love.
And remember, it reminds me of one of my favorite Course in Miracles quotes, which is if we knew what fear was, that we would run toward it. Have you remember that?
Yes. Hey, Doreen. Doreen is actually the one that pointed out this prophecy to me. And it has just really filled my heart with joy. So we're so glad to see you. We're so glad to see you. Yay! So this is the first time I'm sharing it publicly with people. And I'm sharing it because it does fill my heart with joy. We are on the precipice of love consciousness.
It's a precipice, though. It's
So
definitely a
that's fine.
precipice.
And that's fine. We can handle it. We'll be fine. So let's move in with all this information into our circle of love, where we affirm that we are all one. And we'll move out of that into, you know, one of my videos that I want to play for you. And certainly I've been emphasizing so much right now the songs from Yolanda Nanda, which are such a gift to me from Spirit, and that's why I'm so heavily sharing them with you. The first one after the meditation is Driving Desire, and it's inspired from a passage from the Upanishads that says, you are what your driving desire is. As your desire is, so is your will. And as your will is, so is your deed. And as your deed is, so is your destiny. And then I combine that with the Brahma Gayatri, which is a mantra for those who seek knowledge and the essence behind things. It increases your productivity and creativity, which is, and our intuition, which is our vital tools at this time.
A lot about beliefs.
Yes.
Your beliefs drive, you know, beliefs are important.
Right? We were talking about that.
I know. She says that in the chat. You know, you can we'll get into all the synchronicity here in a little bit. Can't wait.
I'm really excited today. Just like it's so exciting for me. So thank you for being here.
All
okay.
Right. Circle of meditation.
Yeah, I'm going to ring the bell 3 times. Let's take 3 deep breaths, and on the last one, exhale with an Om. Woohoo! As Dawn says. Here we go. Ah. My beloved community, my friends, my companions on this journey, in this room, on Zoom, at Awakening Together, in our homes, in our buildings, in our apartments, in our towns, in our states and country, and in the world, we are consciously creating a circle of love, because this circle of love comes from our very being. It is what we are made of, and we are returning to the consciousness of that. So everything has a part, everything plays its part, and everything that we like and everything that we don't like, including the horde of flies that have attacked us in our house this weekend. All living beings are in this circle of love. Every political figure that we like, every political figure that we don't like, every circumstance, everything that we like, everything that we don't like is in this circle of love. And we know that as we let things be exactly as they are, that what needs to change will change, and what needs to stay will stay. And so at this time, we celebrate the power of creativity, the power of intention, the power of community, the power of knowing who we are, and that is love. So let's enter into the silence for just a moment and know that we are loved.
You are what your driving desire is. Ishvaraya Vidmare Paratavaya Dimare Teno Brahma Prachodayat Teno Brahma Prachodayat. Imagine a world of divine inspiration where we all play a part in creation. This is that world. You are the one who makes hell or heaven. You are what your driving desire is. As your desire is, so is your will. As your will is, so is your deed. As your deed is, so is your destiny. Om Parameshvaraya Vidmare Paratavaya Dimare Teno Brahma Prachodayat Teno Brahma Prachodayat. You are what your driving desire is. As your desire is, so is your will. As your will is, so is your deed. As your deed is, so is your destiny.
Oh, I
know.
just love sharing that.
I know. It was a
Because,
particular spring. There was that spring on our land.
yeah, our sanctuary home in Vermont that we are going to prepare
I
a
know.
place for all of you if you'll come visit us.
I've gone to prepare a place for you, right?
Come visit us.
Come visit us.
Anyway, it's going to take us a while to do that, but I do want to point out certainly that it is my great pleasure and honor to work with Drag Queen Story Hour, which gives me the opportunity to share this wonderful...
And dress up as a butterfly.
Yeah.
All the time.
So it's a wonderful opportunity to meet young people and families who are beginning to make a real difference in our conscious, in our world. So that's a great honor. So how does all of this fold into what you're sharing today?
Well,
Wow.
one of the big things of A Course in Miracles is she likes to talk about being special.
Ah,
right?
Interesting.
You know about the specialness thing?
Well, how does she mean that?
You know about, so we had a big long discussion on Wednesday. We had a big thing about like what because she like most words in A Course in Miracles, she flips it on its head. She flips this idea of being special on its head. Now, she says earlier, she's building upon an idea she brought up earlier about special relationships, and she's building on it's like why we think we're special. And it's not, so it's, she uses previously when the Course is talking about a special relationship, she's talking about one that is asking for healing. Right. Okay. So, and the way psychologists kind of use the way the Course uses the psychologists would call it codependency. Okay.
Oh, I never put the two together.
Right. So a
That's
special
good. That's
relationship
okay.
is a codependent relationship.
According to A Course in Miracles.
Yeah, that's kind of like where she's.
Oh.
And there's a lot more to it than that, but
Right.
that's kind of a placeholder in your brain for a special relationship. Now, special relationships are there to help us heal.
Right.
So there's nothing particularly wrong or good or bad about them, but special relationships are where we think we're different than somebody else, right? And so you're here to fulfill this need in me because I don't have it in myself.
Right.
Right. Or we hand out, you remember the idea of like handing a script to everybody and then get mad when they
Treat
don't,
me this way.
when they don't perform according to the script that you've handed out.
Hello.
You know?
Everybody should.
Uh-huh. I didn't get that script. You know? But so what we're doing in chapter 24, there's only 31 chapters, so we're going we're coming down up on the 7 chapters. And chapter 31 is a big old long altar call where she says, if you've learned this, you can walk away from this book and start living your life. That's what chapter 31 is, basically a big giant altar call that says, go out there into the world and live this and stop intellectualizing it. Go do it. So we've really only got like six more chapters to do here on the next 90 days. So these are pretty big chapters. She's going to tackle some pretty big ideas, and because what we're doing is we're moving into the community, trying to give ourselves away at the highest skill level that we can manage, right? We've gone through the hero's journey. We found out that we have something that we must deliver to the world, and that is ourselves, our authentic presence, the presence of love in the world, to be that in 3-dimensional form as a physical being. And we each of us do that differently. You do that as a farmer or a carpenter or a glassblower or a teacher or all kinds of ways. But it'll be, if you remember right, the 3 phases of awakening. Remember the 3 phases of awakening? One is being is having.
Yes.
Right. The first thing you realize when you get on this path, this is like chapter 5, y'all. The first thing is being is having. If I exist, I have the ability to wake up and to heal and to I'm not broken.
And I have everything I need.
And I have everything that I need to take the next step toward my greater awakening, my greater fulfillment.
Being is having.
Right.
Yeah.
And the second, remember what the second one is?
No.
Teach peace.
Thank you.
So that whatever we decide to do in the world, whatever we're going to be about in the world, whether you were the glass blower or the farmer or the blacksmith or whatever it is, or the teacher, the children's literacy, you know, whatever thing that we're going to be in the world, it'll be a form of teaching peace.
Right.
Right. And the third item of awakening, what we do over and over and over again in this spiral. You know what the third phase of awakening is?
I'm not so sure, but you can tell us, I think.
It's seek only the kingdom of heaven.
Seek ye first the kingdom of God and her righteousness. Another song from our childhood.
I know, you just hit play with us. You just say these magic words and we just go right into something else. So this idea of seeking only the kingdom of God. Now, what is the kingdom of God in the way the Course in Miracles uses? It's the present moment. Everything is here. The king, she says in another place, you're the kingdom. You know, so what is real?
The queendom.
Yeah, or the queendom. Yeah, whatever, you know, whatever monarch you want to, whatever monarchist system of,
want to apply.
I know, want to apply that.
Let's say hi to Regina.
I know. Hey, Regina.
We're glad you're
here. So this idea of she's revisiting these ideas again for us. So she moves into the special. So she talks about the special relationship later. But in chapter 24, she goes, and you want to be special. And what separates and what really cuts your ability to connect with the people and get the connection and be an effective tool, God's tool, right? To be an effective tool in the world is because you think you're special. Not just when in relationships with some other particular special person in your life, but you kind of like the idea of separation. You kind of get, it works for you in some way.
Mm.
So,
Interesting.
just a reminder, you can read A Course in Miracles every year if you will read 12.8 pages a week. It's not that big a deal. You can do this. I know you can do it. You can come to my class on Wednesdays.
Oh, yeah.
And we can
That's a
read
good
it
one.
Together.
Yeah.
Right? Because we do. So
and have stimulating
I know.
discussions.
I haven't actually done this lesson in about 3 or 4 years, because in that 12.8 pages, you take a section out. In this chapter 24, section 2 is called chapter 24 is called The Goal of Specialness. She has a whole chapter on what we get out of separation. Okay, it's worth looking at. What the goal of specialness. And the section 2 is specialness as a substitute for love. Remember last week we did the laws of chaos? Mm-hmm. The last law of chaos is where there's a substitute for love.
Mm-hmm. You think there's a substitute for
love.
You
think there's you remember what the other ones were?
It's good to be the king.
It's good to be the king. Right? You remember it's good to be the king?
God is mad at me.
And the second one is I'm bad and deserve to be punished.
I'm really,
bad.
Really
you know
bad.
it. And the third is like pick me.
Oh, right.
Like,
authority.
Needing approval, needing an outside approval of what we do or think, being good enough for some outside thing. And we create that for ourselves. That's what an ego is. It's an idealized version of ourselves that you can't live up to. It's the promise that never delivers. Right?
That's true.
And so the 4 is competition is real. Competition is real. Remember those gorillas that were fighting?
Yes.
It's because we think that you have my dignity and you have my innocence, and somebody stole my job, and somebody has my life, and somebody has my wife, and somebody maybe not. Let's not. I don't want to live in that world. And so she goes on and says, well, the big one is that we think there's something that is going to satisfy us besides love. So what do we think? What's love in A Course in Miracles? What is real? What is real can't be threatened. What is unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. So, reality. The only thing that's going to satisfy us is the participation in what is real.
Wow.
But we don't want to do that because we want to be special. We just say, I don't need that. I don't need that. So, she says in the very, 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 very first thing in this section is, and I quote, love is extension. Love is extension. Love offers everything forever. How's that for an unqualified, just a completely unqualified statement? Love offers everything forever. That's how God works. And think about that as like nature as well.
Oh, right.
The rain falls on everybody, whether you're good or you're bad. Right? The flower blooms for anybody who walks by. It doesn't close up because you're shaped a certain way or you have any kind of erroneous beliefs. Love gives all the time. Gives everything all the time. Wow. How do we operate that way? How could we operate that way? How could we come to a living, walking around three-dimensional expression of that idea? Well, she says, the way you get there is you hold no belief back from examination.
Ooh.
Hold no belief back. She says in the previous chapter, give everything to God. Give everything to what is real. So, hold back no belief from examination. You know what she calls beliefs? That's just funny, the metaphors. I love the metaphor she uses. You know what she calls beliefs that you hold back, that you don't want to examine, that you don't want to admit, or that you want to keep hidden? You want to keep in a dark room or whatever like that? What's she call them? She calls them your hidden warriors.
Right.
Your hidden warriors.
That war against yourself.
The beliefs that we will not examine still work against us because we're still acting on those beliefs, right? You can't do anything but teach the world that you know. Teach the world that you believe in. That's all we ever do. So if your foundational beliefs are ignorant, incorrect, without love, without truth, then your actions will reflect those things. And if you don't examine them and you say, why am I always messing up? Why am I my own worst enemy? Why am I my own worst enemy? Because we have hidden warriors. We've hidden warriors within our minds and within ourselves, so we don't examine them. Because what would it mean if we examined them? Your life would get better. And who wants that? That's pretty scary. What happened if you got everything that you want?
Woo!
What would you do then? Where would I know, yeah, exactly. So that's where I am too. That's where I am too. So
let's say hi to Megan Billy. Hi, Megan
hey,
Billy. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
So this is the way she says it. She goes, these hidden warriors are the shadow self, what I'm calling the shadow.
Okay.
She goes, do not deny their presence or their terrible results. Hidden, unexamined beliefs have terrible results. Right? So
I can see that.
And that's the shadow idea of ourselves that we're afraid to look at. So she also calls this your need for enemies. Your need for an opposition, your need for something to work against, and somebody to be bad because you're good, or somebody to take over or have conflict with or be in competition with. So this, I want Yolanda to read something here.
Oh, okay.
Because she calls specialness the great dictator of wrong decisions. Okay, in this one chapter, she's got warriors and dictators in this one thing, and she's talking about specialness. How serious do you think this is to understand about ourselves? Within us is the dictator. Within us is the hidden warrior. Within each of us are beliefs that we are afraid to examine that are working against us, and our ability for God to use in our life. God's ability to use us in the world, and for us to be happy and joyous and free, because the only thing that's ever going to satisfy you is the participation in what is real: love, joy. So where are we in that? I asked Yolanda if she would read this passage. Can you do this for me?
Oh, sure. Okay. So here we go. What God created cannot be attacked, for there is nothing in the universe unlike itself. But what is different calls for judgment. There's actually nothing different.
Right.
But what is different calls for judgment. Right. Okay. And this must come from someone better, someone incapable of being like what he condemns, above it, sinless by comparison with it.
I know.
Oh God. And thus does specialness becomes a means and an end at once. For specialness not only sets apart, but serves as grounds from which attack on those who seem beneath the special one is natural and just. Oh my God, she's talking about what's going on in our world right now. The special ones feel weak and frail because of differences. For what would make them special is their enemies. Yet they protect this enemy, its enmity, thank you, and call it friend. On its behalf, they fight against the universe, for nothing in the world they value more.
I know.
Wow.
You know anybody like that? You know any dictators like that?
Well, how about warriors?
How about warriors? What often we do is it's also called projection, right? We project onto other people's the difference that we can't live with ourselves, right? That we can't admit in ourselves. So it's important to examine these ideas because they have real world consequences on ourselves and our families and our friends. So this is the idea with the need for an enemy, is this idea of being the need to conquer or be conquered, the fight, the dog eat dog world.
Right.
And it's this idea that peace that meaning and is in objects and it's in people.
Right.
So if you can control a body, you can control meaning. Or if you can control a symbol, you can control meaning. If you can destroy a thing, you can destroy the idea that it represents.
Wow.
That's not true. It doesn't work that way.
Right.
Ideas do not leave their source.
Right.
They aren't, there is no such thing as an object or a body having inherent meaning. Right? But we do assign meaning to people who have certain body shapes. We do assign meaning to special objects in our lives, to flags, and to skin color, and to performance of culture all over the place. The need to create an enemy is the way we do in the world that validates our own sense of specialness, so that we don't have to examine who we are. Right? Nothing, and Regina says, or from Dawn, nothing of value can be taken away.
Right,
exactly. Right? If it's real, you can't lose. Being is having.
Nothing real can be threatened.
See, we know these things. So can we act on them? Yes, we can act on them when we do what today's lesson is. 263. Right. My holy vision sees all things as pure. There we are. So we each person, she reminds us in the conclusion, has the same goals: peace, right? Fulfillment. So our beliefs, like Yolanda's song says, our beliefs create our actions, and our actions have consequences in the world. They have real world consequences to our awakening and the awakening of others. So we each have the same goals, whether we are acting on them all at the same time or not. But our goal is to remember and to help each other remember who we are. So what do we do when we begin to help me examine the beliefs that I can't see that are messing with my life? Help me examine the beliefs that I can't see. I want to help you examine the beliefs that you can't see. That's what being in a community is about. I have had wonderful women in my life. I've had wonderful people of color in my life. I've had wonderful trans people and disabled people that have done the heavy lifting for me and helped me understand what I could not see, what I could not do, have done me a great service. The women and disabled people, the Black people in my life have done an incredible service for me to be able to say, hold up there, this is how it really is. And I rely on it. That's what I want to know. I want to know what the real world is. I want to know what the kingdom of heaven is. So our goal is to remember who we are. And I need your help to help me remember who I am. And I want to help each of us remember who we are. Now, never can there be peace among the different. She concludes this. Never can there be peace among the different. So we're not different. The difference that we experience are to be celebrated, not divisive. He is your friend. Your brother is your friend because you're the same.
How about that?
Your brother's your friend because you are the same. So remember to trust the voice that likes you. Okay? Can you trust the voice that likes you? She'll tell you that we're all one. And the nice thing about that is that she'll even tell you how to act like it. So I'm Reverend Glenn Morton Gataway, and you are at church with a 2-drink minimum.
Cheers, everybody. Hey, George.
I know. Yay.
Thank you,
So
sweetheart.
tell them about this song.
I am. Wow. So I'm vibing on what you
It's fun, isn't it?
what you just said. Yes. So, one thing that again is really sticking out to me is that we are all God, and we come together to create community, and in that community we find not only love as we feel it, but the greater and greater and greater purpose of our beingness.
I seek connection. I want to know what reality is. I really seek connection. There's no substitute for love.
Right.
There's no substitute for my love for you. There's no substitute for the reality that is love. Because love works. Love actually does that heavy lifting. I have been loved into healing. People
Yeah.
loved me before I could love myself in some areas of my life.
Yeah.
People have helped me examine beliefs that don't serve me, that have been standing in my way. And if, we've talked about this 100 times probably, but if we could understand the gift that fear has to offer, self-examination has to offer, difficulty, whatever it is, if we understood what those things were for, we would run toward them.
Which is exactly what I was sharing at the top of our hour, and why I feel so much joy right now, because I know that we are moving into this amazing time of self-discovery and awakening. So in that vein, I want to share my song "Your Eyes" with you, which is a song in praise of compassion for one another, and the chant is Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Swaha, which is called the Green Tara chant, which is the energy of compassion. So here we go. Your Eyes.
I wish you could see what I see in you when I look into your eyes. Om Tare Tu Re Swaha. Om Tare Tu Re Swaha. Om Tare Tu Re Swaha. Om. I wish that I could rescue you. Please tell me what drove you to the ledge. What happened that shattered your dreams, triggered the pain that now plagues you? I wish that I could convince you that you don't deserve to suffer. I see the power in your eyes. They're the windows to your soul. Your eyes are the windows to your soul. Do you see the footprints in the sand? I'll carry you and your wounds. Your healing is something we'll do together. I'm sticking with you. I want you to know how holy you are, how possible you are, how beautiful. I can see it in your eyes. They're the windows to your soul. Your eyes, they're the windows to your soul. Your eyes, they're the windows to your soul. Your eyes, they're the windows to your soul. I wish you could see what I see in you when I look into your eyes.
Wow, I love sharing that with y'all. Thanks for watching with me. I have a dear friend, her name, oh, thank you, Doreen, I appreciate that. I have a dear friend by the name of Dominique Christina, who's a poet, and she inspires me, and she sent some pictures of some friends of hers with their permission for that video, and then one of the pictures was taken at my local grocery store.
I know, that's our grocery store that we go to. The lady with the deli ladies with the thing with the mask on.
It's just been
Those
a really
grocery store.
Yeah, it's just been a really interesting time in my life, and in all of our lives, right? As we move through this this period. So compassion.
Your healing is something that
we'll do together. Yes.
You know,
I'm sticking with you. All right, we've got a couple of minutes. Let's sing We Are Angels.
I think we should.
Why do you feel so out of place? So out of touch with the human race? You don't seem to understand why your brother won't lend a helping hand. Why do people tear apart? Oh, your tender heart. Why does the nighttime feel so dark? When the light shines inside your heart, we are angels, we are angels, and we're struggling to be human. You tell me of the things you feel. You push away, then you draw me near. You tell me of your fantasy. I love the way that you speak honestly. Why is it so hard to love the one you've been dreaming of? Don't you see yourself in me? I see myself in you. Don't you see what we can be? We are angels. We are angels. And we're struggling to be human. We are angels. We are angels, and we're struggling to be human. Time heals all pain. That's the way of the world. And time will bring us around again. Oh, that's the way of the world. We are angels. We are angels. And we're struggling to be human. We are angels. We are angels. And we're struggling to be human. We are angels, and we're struggling to be human.
Sing the la-las with us.
Here we go. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la.
Yay!
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Ah, la,
Know,
la, la,
yeah.
la, la, la.
Know that each and every one of us are necessary in the mind of God.
Absolutely.
All of it.
Absolutely.
And that when my holiness sees all things as pure.
Okay, let's give up the mic. We're going to move into something genuine with Reverend Jacqueline. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you next Sunday.
You will.
Okay, bye. But we're